us, not just us.
Zach. That's our 10th person.
Okay. Today I'm going to talk about the progression of women's soccer, and everybody likes gold, obviously, gold bracelets, gold necklaces, whatever, everybody likes gold. And as far as soccer goes in the United States, women have strived to do nothing but get to the gold in the last 30 plus years. And so today I will talk about, like I said, how they've progressed and how they've gotten as far as they have gotten. And this information might be useful to you that have daughters now, or who have granddaughters, or who one day might have granddaughters that want to get involved with soccer. And this might just benefit you in knowing how they've progressed and how far it's come in the last few years. And so it might just make you more thankful for history, really. And I'm going to hit on 3 main topics today. The first topic, I will talk about the beginning of soccer in the U.S. in general, the beginning of girls soccer and the progression they've made, and the law of Title IX and how that's affected the opportunity for girls to play soccer in the U.S. in college. Okay. In 1620, when the Pilgrims got to the U.S., they saw the Native Americans playing a loose form of soccer. There wasn't a lot of rules, but it was a form of soccer. And in 1820, 200 years later, they saw that colleges were playing soccer, but there was no intercollegiate competition. And the Olympics actually made soccer an official Olympic sport in 1904, which was a big milestone in soccer in general. And then in 1913, if you've heard the word FIFA, which is an abbreviation for Federal International de Football Association, it was granted membership by the International Board in 1913. And also in the same year, FIFA granted the U.S. Football Association membership as well. And because of that progression, in 1916, the first U.S. men's national team was formed. And men's soccer continued to progress for years to come after that. In 1971, club soccer had just getting started, but in 1971, that was the first year that girls were allowed to play in the league known as the American Youth Soccer Organization. And today, 40% of their players are female, so you can see that it's held strong since the beginning. And another organization is the U.S. Youth Soccer Organization, and there's about 3 million players. It's a nationwide organization, 3 million players, aging from 5 to 19. And with that organization, there's 4 different regions: East, South, West, and Midwest. And those 4 regions also play a big role in the ODP program, which stands for the Olympic Development Program. And that's, just as the title states, it's a program that helps develop potential Olympic players. And so any member of the national team right now, most of those girls were involved with ODP program at one point or another. And most of the time, they probably started at a very early age, 11 or 12, most likely. And according to USsoccer.com, the Women's League, the Women's United Soccer Association, there was talks about getting it going in 2000, and that's when they decided they would for sure get it going in 2001, which was a big deal because it was the first women's professional league for soccer. And it was also a very big deal because women were starting to get paid for soccer, and their salaries at that time ranged from $20,000 to $100,000, depending on the player. The average salary was about $40,000. And another stepping stone was the fact that 1/4 of their games were on television, and who would have thought that girls soccer would ever be televised. And also the contract that initially they gave them said that they had, you'll start out and you'll have 5 years, and there was a minimum of 8 teams. The United States women have done very great things as far as the Olympics go. And according to databaseolympics.com, they're the only 3-time national gold medalists. And in 1996, that's when they won their first ever gold medal for women's. And 4 years later, in 2000, they fell short and got silver. But they made a three-peat in 2004, 2008, and 2012, and took home gold those 3 years in a row, 3 Olympics in a row. Not only did they have Olympic success, they had much World Cup success, and that really gave them a lot of spark as far as soccer goes in the U.S. in general. And in 1991, that was when their first World Cup was won. In 95, you can see that they got bronze. That was pretty good. But in 1999 was a pivotal moment in sports history, but mainly U.S. history as well. And according to Duke students from Duke University, Gretchen Miller, Jonathan Skyer, and Emily Sharon, they did a study on this. And they learned that the opening game that the U.S. played against Denmark held a crowd that was 78,972 people. And at the time, it was the record for the largest crowd to attend a all-women's sporting event. But that record was only held for a short while until the championship game came around to when the U.S. played the Chinese in the World Cup final. And that drew a crowd of 90,185 people, which was very good, and it helped the U.S. to a victory that game, and they ended up winning in a penalty shootout. And these pictures right here are pictures, especially the bottom one, that you've probably seen in one point or another of them celebrating. And another cool thing about that was that all 32 games of that tournament were on TV. The law, Title IX, was signed by President Nixon in 1972, and it's basically a law that prohibits gender discrimination in federally funded education if they had any opportunity for women's sports. And Justice.gov, that's where I got the quote, the whole thing stated. It's kind of hard to understand, but basically it's for every male athlete that gets a scholarship out of college, a female athlete must be also given one to match it. And so that's why you don't see any male SEC soccer teams in the SEC, because Title IX plays a role in that. But it's given girls an opportunity, equal opportunity to play college sports, not just soccer, but any sport that the college offers for women. So in conclusion, the women's national team has helped make soccer popular for today, and without all the success that they've had, I don't think soccer would be where it is at this point. And like I just mentioned, Title IX has allowed great opportunity for women all across the country to go from high school to college to further their education and sports careers. And if you look in the past 35 years, all the progression that it's made since the beginning, it only probably increases the chances that it will continue to grow. Thank you.